Alright, what's up everybody? Today I'll be showing you how to make Milliam's intro, but before we start the video, actually 83% of you who watch the videos are not subscribed, so if you could please take 1 second out of your day and hit that sub button. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers soon so I can buy a PC. That would help a lot. But only subscribe if you learn something off of this video. Alright, this video is going to be broken up into 2 parts. It's going to be the basic version of Milliam's intro and the advanced version of Milliam's intro. Skip to here for the basic version and skip to here for the advanced version. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Safari and we are going to type in any 2 colors that you want and put wood texture after it. I kind of want a wood, like a pink and blue wood texture, so I typed in pink and blue wood texture. And we're just going to go until we find something that we like. I kind of like the way this one looks, so I'm going to use this. So we're just going to hold down on it and press add to photos. Next, we're going to go over to Video Leap. And we are going to click the plus. And we are going to put our picture in. Now, this is important. Make sure you tap the canvas at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Canvas, format, and go 16 by 9. It's fine if you have black bars because you can always put your 2 fingers on the screen and zoom out, and it'll zoom the picture in. Now, seems to be like a little bit of writing, and we don't really want that, so we're just going to zoom it in a little bit more and crop it out. And now what we're going to do, we're going to open Safari back once more time, and we're going to type in solid black 16 by 9, and tap images. Alright, we got one right here. Hold it down, add to photos. We're going to go back into Video Leap. And we're going to click Mixer at the bottom left hand corner, the second one over. And then we're going to add the picture. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a keyframe. And we're going to zoom it all the way in. Okay, keyframe right there. And about 1 second in, we're going to add 2 keyframes. One right here, and then another one about right here, and we're going to zoom it out so we can just see the border. And now what we can do is we can move this up and down until it clicks on as it's centered. I kind of want to see a little bit more of the outline, so I'm going to pinch a little bit more, make sure it's centered. Okay. Alright, so it'll look like this. Yep. And now what we're going to do is we are going to go to text. Text again. And you can pick any font that you want out of all of these. So we're going to tap it and put in your name. Zoom. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Make sure it's centered. And we are going to add a keyframe right here and right here. And at this first keyframe right here, we're going to set the opacity at 0 so it fades in. And then what makes the text look cool is you go to effects, press gold, and you can do any color that you want. I'm going to do maybe alright. So it'll look something like this. And that looks good. And what we're going to do is we're going to export it. Make sure it's in 1080p, 60 FPS, and we're going to save it. We're going to open up a new project. So we have this in here, and we're going to go over to YouTube, and we're going to type in cinematic dust overlay right here, and find a cinematic dust overlay. I think I'm going to use this one right here. Okay, yep. We're going to swipe up and screen record this. Screen record this right here. When you click mixer, it'll go right over the top. And now I see that there are, like, I don't really want that line in there, right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop it out, zoom it in a little bit, and we're going to press blending, and we're going to press screen. Yep, just like that. And if you think the particles are moving like a little bit too quick, you can always go to speed and go to about 50%. Like that, and make it look nice. And I'm going to split it, delete this half, and then just drag it until it locks on. Click. So now it's 3 seconds exactly. So this is the first version of Milliam's intro. This is the basic version, all done on Video Leap. Boom. And now we're going to go into the advanced version. Alright, now for the advanced version. We're going to open up a light motion. And we are going to click the plus right there. And these settings should be good. Make sure you're on 16.9. Create project. We're going to click the plus in the bottom right hand corner. And we're just going to grab a shape. And we're going to drag it as wide as it can go. So it's just a blank screen. And go to color fill and just make it white. Like this. Now I want this a little bit longer, so I am going to go to speed, and I'm going to go about to 50%, so instead of 2 seconds, it's 4 seconds. And we're going to click the plus. Now we're going to click on it, go to effects, add effect, color and light, and 4 color gradient. So I got the 4 color gradient in here, and I'm going to set a keyframe at the very start for each color, like that. And I don't really want these colors, so I can tap on the color, and I can change them to whatever color I want. I'm going to do like kind of blue, pink, white-ish type. So that looks pretty cool. So those are my colors. I'm gonna make that pink. Yep. Alright, and now I'm gonna go ahead. I look at these markings right here, and I'm gonna change the colors here, I'm gonna change the colors here, here, and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over that and click on the white bar right there. So there's a red mark. Go ahead, click, click, click. You do not need to do this, but I like doing it so I know and I remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 4 color gradient. I'm going to click onto the red, like that, and for each color I'm going to add another keyframe. And now this time I'm just going to go to each color and I'm just going to change them. So for this I'm going to do maybe pink, then I'll do a white. That looks good. So you can see it rotates, and then we're going to lock onto the keyframe again, or not the keyframe, the line. Tap on 4 color gradient, add keyframe for each color, like that. So to add a keyframe, you have to tap on color 1, 2, 3, and 4, and add a keyframe for each one. So we're going to tap on that. I already added my keyframes. I'm going to change around the colors. I'm going to do white. I'll do a pink. I'll do a blue, like that, and another one right here. Next keyframe, next line I mean, right here, keyframe, 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 and keyframe. Change around the colors. And one last time, we're going to go to the line, add our keyframes for each color, change colors. Okay, so it makes like this animated, rotating color look. And it looks really smooth and nice. So we're going to press this button in the upper right hand corner, and we're going to save video export. And make sure you press save. Then you can press close. Alright, now that we have our 4-color gradient, we're going to put it into Video Leap as a mixer, and we're going to put our wood texture in as a mixer. And now, first we're going to start with our wood, and we're going to add 2 keyframes, one here and one here. And I'm going to set this keyframe to 0. I'm actually going to add 3 keyframes, I mean. Set this keyframe to 0, and add 2 really close keyframes, and set this one to 0 as well. And then this one to 100. Just like that, so 3 keyframes, 0, 0, 100. And now I'm going to add 4 keyframes onto this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'm going to do is, on this first one, I'm going to go and set opacity to 0, and go to transform and press fit. Go to this one, and press fit again, opacity to 0, and then this one, finally bring opacity to 100. Make sure transform is still on fit. Oops. Make sure it's still on fit. And then on this one, we are just going to pinch our fingers in so it just zooms out a little bit like this. And then we're going to export this and put it into a light motion. So it looks like this. Just like that. 1080p, 60 FPS, save. Alright, now that we have that, we're going to open up a light motion, press the plus, create project, and we're going to go to the thing. We got this right here, looks clean, plus text, and we're going to go to this font right here. That's the one that I like, and I'm going to go to 40, and I'm going to press the dark blue. And now I'm just going to type what I want. So whatever name I want. Now I'm going to put spaces in between each letter because I like the way it looks when it's spaced out. Now I'm just going to center it, so I'm going to go to move and transform, I mean. And then just center it, just like that. That looks good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to timing, and I'm going to go to 50% so it matches up perfectly at the end. Press the plus, text, right here, same font, 40, and white, and A. And now I'm just going to do it so it hovers over the A. It does not need to be perfect right now. So I can just hover over, and we're going to do the same thing with the L. Same color, same everything. There. And now we're going to do, I also have to put this on 50. Put this on 50 as well. And now I'm just going to add my E. E and hover over. Lastly, we're going to do the X. Oops. Oops, bugging out. Alright. Lastly, we're going to do the X right here. 40, white, and X. Just like that. And before you do anything, make sure that they match up at the end. I still have to go to 50 for that, and I still have to go to 50 for this as well. So they all match up at the end. It's time to add effects. So we're going to go to the A. We're going to move all the way down to move and transform. And this is a paid. You need the full version. You need the full version of Light Motion for this. So it's going to be move along path. We're only going to be using orientation and offset, so we're going to add a keyframe at the start of it for both of them. Orientation is going to add our angle. Offset is going to move it left, right, up, and down. So I'm going to move this just so it's above the A. And we're moving it up. Now I'm just going to move it a little bit to the left. I think that would look nice. A little bit higher. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing for the L. Move and transform, move along path. Orientation, this time I'm going to flip the angle, so it's going to go the other way. Add 2 keyframes, and I'm going to move it over. Now I'm going to move it up. Right there. Oh, and I messed it up. So it's right there, and then we are going to go... Oh, I forgot to do this for the A. And now for the A, we're going to go 0.40 seconds in. We're going to add another keyframe, not for progress, but for orientation and offset. And we're going to straighten it back out with orientation. And we're going to move it down. Now, we want this to fit perfectly over the blue text. So, we're going to move it over. We don't want to see any blue. So that looks good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see where I put that keyframe right here. I'm going to go to the middle of the keyframe, and I'm going to press on the time so there's a red mark. Okay, and then I'm going to add my keyframes for orientation, offset, and then I'm going to make sure it's straightened out. And I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it down and over a little bit. Alright. And now we're going to do the same thing for E. Move transform. Move along path. Add our keyframes. And we're going to set our angle. Right there looks good. And we're just going to move this over. And move it up. Okay, that looks good. And now we're going to go to our red mark. Add a keyframe for both of these. Straighten it back out with orientation. Right there looks good, and we're going to move it down. Just like that, and move it over. Perfect. Lastly, we're going to do the same thing for the X. Move along path. And we are going to do the angle. Right there looks good. And we're going to move it over. And then just move it up a little bit. Over a little bit more. And now we just add our keyframes both here. And we're going to go to our red mark. Keyframe. Keyframe. Center this back out. Move it up a little bit. Just like that. Perfect. So it falls down. Alright, and then we are going to go to blending and opacity. We're going to add 2 keyframes, one here and 1.05 in. It's right there. And then we're just going to tap on the time. So there's a red marker. Keyframe, 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 red marker, keyframe, right here, right there. And even for the full word. Right there. And now for each one, we're just going to go to the first keyframe, and we're going to set it to 0. So, it fades in, and then drops down onto the word. Right there. Okay, now we're going to add a few little touches to make it look better. So, we are going to go to the A, and we're going to add 2 more effects. We're going to go to blur, and motion blur. And we're going to set it on 2. 2 right there. Yep. That's all we need for that. And then we're just going to add 1 more. And it's going to be distortion / warp. We're going to scroll down to the bottom. And it's going to be squeeze right here. Boom. And then we're going to set a keyframe. And another keyframe right here. And at that first keyframe, the strength, we can put it on like -13 or something. Oh, something glitched. We're going to delete that for now. And then we're just going to bring it back. Alright, distortion warp. Squeeze. And we're going to add a keyframe. Keyframe. And okay, we can do a little bit more. Yeah, that looks cool. And now we're going to do another one to the L. Add blur. Motion blur. Put it on 2. back, add effect, distortion and warp, and squeeze. And now this time, since my A curved to the left, I'm now going to put it on right. And I'm going to put it on about 13. Right here. And then here. Putting this on 0. Yes. Alright. Now the E. I feel like my motion blur is a little weak on the L. Alright, that looks good. And now we're going to go to the E, add effect, blur, motion blur, put it on 2, go back onto the E, add effect, distortion and warp, and squeeze. And this one is going to go, we got to add a keyframe first, and another one here. This one's going to go to the left, so I'm going to put it on about 13. My E, the motion blur on the E looks a little bit strong, so now I'm just going to tune it down. Yep, that looks better. Now we go to the X and blur. Motion blur. We'll see what 2 looks like. Okay, and then we go and add our distortion warp. Right there. And then we are going to the right, so about 13. And then another keyframe and put this on 0. Alright. That looks good. No, the motion blur on the X looks a little bit weak, so I'm just going to tune it up a little bit. That looks better. Alright, now that those letters are done, we're just going to add the Japanese letters. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go out into Safari, and we're going to type in Google Translate. Alright, and we're going to go from English to, we're looking for the J's, Japanese. And I'm just going to type in my name. Okay. And now I'm just going to pick out, like, 3 letters that I like. Okay. So I'm going to go with this first one. We got to go to text first. We got to go here. Make sure it's on 40. And white. Paste. And now we're going to paste in the other 2. Oops. Paste. Yeah, that looks cool. And then I'm just going to line it up. Now I am actually going to make the letters smaller because they look too big. So edit text, and I'm probably going to put it on about 24. And so it doesn't look like it's just standing out, we are going to go to blending and opacity, and we are going to add a keyframe. And right here, we're going to do the first one at 0. Yep. So we got that. And now one last thing that we're going to do to make a little pop on it is we're going to go to each one of our letters, add effect, and we're going to go to edge right there. And it's going to be glow right there. And it's basically just going to make it glow. I'm going to make the glow white. And I'm basically just going to turn it down because it's a little bit harsh. Like that. Okay. And now, same thing with the L. Edge. Glow. And we're just basically going to turn everything down a little bit. And put it at white. I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. Alright, like that. And then we're going to do the same thing to the E. Add effect. Edge. And glow. And we're just going to turn it down. And put it on white. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm going to turn up the L. Actually, I'm going to turn down the E and the A a little bit. Alright, now we just got to add it to the X. Edge. Glow. And just turn it down. Alright, now we got glow on our ALE and X. So we just got to add our glow onto our Japanese letters, and we're going to add effect. And we're going to go to edge and glow. And we're going to tune it down a little bit. To about there. So it looks like that. Yep, that looks really nice. And then we're going to add one more effect. As it zooms out, I already split this, but this is the part where it zooms out. So it goes to where it starts and to where it ends. You're gonna split these by pressing the middle button, and then split it again by pressing the middle button, and you'll have this clip. And you're going to go to effects, add effect, blur, and then zoom blur. And then we're going to add a keyframe on the beginning and the end. And at the start, we're going to put the strength on about 10. And then, yep, we want a keyframe for strength. It's going to be at about 10. And then on the last keyframe, it's going to be at 0. So as it's zooming out, it'll look smoother. And lastly, all we have to do is just add 2 keyframes to the end of the video, one here. We have to go to blending and opacity for each clip. Blending and opacity for each clip, and add 2 keyframes. One there and one there for each clip. And on the second keyframe, we are just going to set that second one down to 0. I did that for each one. So at the end, it fades out nice. And that is it. And all we have to do is just export this right now. So I'll be back when it exports. Alright, now that's saved. Now that exported, we're going to save the video. Just like that. And let's see what it looks like. Now, if you could please leave a like on this video. This took me a very long time to record and learn how to make these effects. So a like and sub would be greatly appreciated. But once again, only like and sub if you learned something else off this video.